mission of Goodwill can be very, very simply stated, which is to remove barriers that cause people to not be independent. Those can be physical barriers, they can be mental barriers, they can be transportation, housing, or jobs. But it's to remove barriers so people can have the independence they deserve.
Everybody's story is different, and the amount of people that we help is just, it's amazing to me. And it's not just one situation. It could be, you know, all kinds of different situations. But at the end of the day, we're helping people feel better about themselves. We're giving them opportunities and chances. We're making them feel like they're worth something. And I just can't think of anything better.
It's more than just taking a donation and selling it in our store. It's what's done with that money.
You know, you look at all of the different programs we provide. You know, not that many years ago, we were just doing employment services for people with disabilities.
Not only do we employ people in our stores that might not otherwise have jobs, but we're able to do things like the housing, like the transportation, like the schools, and a number of other things.
And that just makes me feel like I am a part of something very big and making a difference. So I feel it every day.
So my nickname was Sugar Baby. So I had to learn how to like our media. I didn't like our media. So by working here with the good people I've met here, I maintained my stability, my respectability, and I got to see my kids again through people that I met here didn't know me. So I had given up my kids because I was in the street doing everything that wasn't right. I was just against all that. I wanted to do what I wanted to do and didn't care about nobody else. I was so close to losing everything I had, but the people here at Goodwill stood by me. This is my family. I done come a long ways here, and I plan to go a long ways. I want to go back to school. I want to go to college, thanks to these people, and I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna do that. But it's an opportunity for me because the computer was so foreign to me that I didn't want to have nothing to do with it. And I learned something new. I just learned how to do the ebook. When you go on the internet, I just learned that yesterday. And I'm proud of me. I was, yay, go me. I never knew that. But I'm learning something new every day. And then I'm learning step by step. And being here, I've been clean and sober 12 years. So as I've been working here too. I've been here 12 years, and I've been clean and sober 12 years. I got the support here for my sobriety, and then I got the confidence in here, in the people to help me better myself in the community, and I want to give so much back to the community.
I lost my vision, and then I lost my husband, and then I lost my house. The benefits of living here is I don't have to mow the yard. I don't have to worry about maintenance because I could call them in. I have safety here. I can come in and close my door, but there are people around. I know a lot of people here in the building, and I have friendships that I don't have to go out and worry about walking across a dark street or someplace because I can no longer drive. I can afford to live here. I could not afford to live where I was living because they raise the lot rent every year. And so living here is I'm close to everything and I'm close to everyone, and we help each other out. This is a community, and this is a wonderful community. I really, I like all my people around here. I can stay home when I want to stay home. If I want to fix a meal, I can fix a meal. We have 5 meals a day down at the dining room. And usually when I'm home, I go down, and that's when I catch up on the house gossip. But I don't have to go. There's nobody tells me what I have to do. I don't have to get up at a certain time. I don't have to, except for art class. But I mean, you know, it's my life, and I can do what I want to do in my life.
When I started out in '89, I came to Goodwill because I was desperate for work. I was at home for 20 years. And before that, I had a few bouts in the hospital. And when I came down here, I got a job with Goodwill, and I've been with Goodwill ever since then.
And what do you do? What is your job?
I post books, DVDs, music, stuff like that. Right now, I sorted books, I sorted clothes, I've ticketed clothes. I've done just about everything. I did hangers for 6.5 months here.
And what do you like about working here?
Have a job. My mom would like me to quit, but I don't feel like sitting at home all the time. TV is nice, but there's a lot of things besides TV.
So you said you stayed home for 20 years?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Straight years. I didn't have a choice. It was either that or the hospital. And hospitals cost a lot of money.
And how is your life different since you work at Goodwill?
I've made friends since I come to Goodwill. Before, I had maybe 2 or 3 friends at the most. But since I come to Goodwill, I have all kinds of friends.
I'm currently a substitute teacher with the Lee County system, mostly working over at Orangewood Elementary. I love it, getting to be involved with the kids' lives, just educating them and showing them that despite their hardships that they can overcome their downfalls and continue to aspire to what they want to be. And Mr. Rocky, why are you in a wheelchair? And I just tell them, this is how I was born. I came out of my mom and I needed a wheelchair when I was born, so this is how I am. And they are, okay, that's cool. You know, they're just so curious, and I love it because I'd rather you ask than, make assumptions, because you don't know who I am unless you ask. Don't judge a book by its cover. That's always what I said. So, well, the High School High Tech program, it's a program that originated with Goodwill. I was involved with it while I was in high school, and it was a great program that took us through different organizations in the area, different workplaces in the area to show the accessibility and the capability of different employee options for individuals with disabilities. Allowed us to go and see that just because of our disability doesn't mean we can't get involved in our community and in our workforce, that we shouldn't just lay back and take it, basically, that we need to make our own way and fight for what our dreams and goals are. And it helped me pursue my dreams and my goals to continue with my education and get into the workforce. I personally really enjoyed the shadowing program that they had. I actually got to shadow a judge for a day and go and sit in court with him, sit back in his courtroom and where he delegates what he does. And it was a great experience just being able to see that and see what that entails, because for a period of time I thought about becoming a judge and running for judgeship. So they open up so many areas and so many avenues for you to explore your dreams, your careers, your aspirations, and what you may want to do. It gets to the point, and though I've always had a positive attitude despite my disability and the hardships and the trials, it helped push me to continue to dream, to aspire, to continue working on my goals and going towards my career.
Well, I type descriptions of items that have been donated by generous people all around Southwest Florida. Those items range from clothing to shoes to electronics to even old items and vintage items, and some are antique items. When I was first born in November 15th, 1984, I was suddenly diagnosed with autism. To this day, I have OCD, which is obsessive compulsive disorder.
How does that impact your job? How does that impact what you do here?
I want to make sure I do my job right, and then I try not to make mistakes. But one time I had a mistake on the flatware, which I put it as sterling silver, but it was actually silver plated, and one customer was mad, but I wasn't worried about that. But I wasn't in trouble for that. I learned something called constructive criticism.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Amy Van Patten with your ABC 7 News Brief.
15 years ago, I was working out at the gym. I was actually working as a television news anchor and reporter here in Fort Myers for ABC 7. And I was at the gym one day after work, just as usual, doing my normal workout routine when I collapsed. I was rushed to the hospital where it was determined I had bleeding in my brain from an aneurysm that I didn't know I had. So I ended up having a total of about 4 brain surgeries within a 5-month period. I held several part-time jobs. After I left, I had to leave the station, go on disability from the station because I just couldn't do the job well anymore, which was really disheartening for me because I really loved my job, but it was for the best. Well, I knew of Goodwill as a used clothing store. I had no idea they provided all the services that they do to disabled people. And they ended up hiring me after about a month. They said, I was doing good enough that they could hire me, so they ended up hiring me after about a month. And it was a great job. It worked out really well. I did a lot of writing, which I love to do. And I was even named Achiever of the Year one year, which was such a nice and unexpected honor. I'm really limited in what I can do just because of all the surgeries I've had. So what I do here is perfect. What I'm doing here is just, it's the perfect fit for me. There are so many cool people who work here. I mean, so many people with such a wide range of disabilities. It's so nice to work for a company that works with people and employs people who have disabilities. If I weren't here, I definitely would not be working, I don't think.
If you weren't here working with folks at Goodwill, where do you think you'd be?
Nowhere.
Be at home?
Yep.
What would you be doing at home?
Facebook.
Yeah. What kind of stuff do they have you doing?
Taking hangers
Okay.
and books, sodas, all them stuff.
So it's kind of cool to come here and work every day.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about coming to work?
Get my paycheck.
I have a wife and 5 kids, so the opportunity to make more money was definitely a plus for me. It's something that I needed, and it's helped me out tremendously. I started taking donations at the back door, and now through the company I obtained a Class A license. So not only did they help me in case I did want to go out further, maybe I wanted to go over the road driving or anything of that sort, they gave me the tools I would need to do it. That's one thing about the Goodwill programs. I mean, there's always a way to better yourself, they're gonna stick right behind you. I'm doing a job now that I didn't think that I would be doing, but someone else thought that I would be able to do it, and they helped me all the way through. They do a lot, and if anybody just took the time out to really see exactly what all they did, they would be very amazed. I know I was. If I wasn't working at Goodwill, I'm not sure where I'd be right now. This is one of the smartest decisions I've made in my adult life yet, and I'm going to keep giving them 110%, just for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. I'm going to go as far in the company as I can possibly go. I make jokes with our director all the time, telling him I'm coming for his job. Even put my name on the wall, covered over his one day, just to mess with him a little bit. But I mean, there's no limit. I don't think there is.
My husband and I have been working in the bakery business since 1979. And my husband started in Germany, and we met here in Florida. And we both started in the same industry. And when we decided to venture on our own, we said we should start our own bakery. After 25 years together, we decided that, we'll do that. Microenterprises really did a great job in showing us how to do a business plan. That's how we got our loan through the bank. And the bank, the loan officer was the one that said that's the best business plan he's ever seen. So that was, he was impressed by that, and they gave us a second shot. They kept looking at the figures, and it has to be accurate. And they made us, make sure that what we put in that business plan was correct and it was accurate. And that's how we got the loan. That was a miracle at that time, but we were happy.
So where do you think you'd be if you hadn't gone through the microenterprise program? Where would you be?
We probably be working for someone else, again, waiting to somehow build up waiting for the bank, the finance system to come around to give small business a loan again. Because at that time, they were not giving, especially in the food industry. You have a good day.
Thank you. You as well.
Bye. Thank you. Sorry about this. If someone was thinking about going into a micro enterprise program, I would definitely highly recommend it. And when you go there, pay attention. From day one, everything they're telling you, you're going to need it. You're going to need it at the end.
Well, Life Academy is in its 8th year, and we were the vision of Goodwill Industries of Southwest Florida. Well, they found so many of their clients came to them at the age of 22, 23, 24, and they had just gotten out of school, but they weren't prepared for the workplace. So they felt that if we started them younger, at the high school level, and now we even do middle school, that they would be better prepared when they got out into the workforce. We provide an environment for students who cannot necessarily function in that really large school environment. Now, we do want to prepare them to get out into the real world, which is a large environment. But with our kids, you have to take baby steps. And sometimes when they go into the large schools, there's no opportunity for those baby steps. They're thrown in with 1,100 kids, and it's just very difficult for them to adapt. So we kind of give them the wading pool before we throw them into the big pool. They're not tainted in any way by work. Work is exciting. And when they hold those paychecks, oh my goodness, we take a picture of them holding their first paycheck. And then they have to step out and tell the group what they did. And then we say, and you earned a paycheck, and we hand them the paycheck, and they're just like ear to ear. I mean, that's a good way to learn about work. We make our graduation personal. If they graduated in a regular school, they'd march with the other 600 in their class. There'd be nothing special for them. And that kind of a ceremony is a little difficult for some of them to understand. We make ours them. All of our students that have graduated have had an opportunity for employment or an opportunity for a sheltered workshop. And that's something that is not always offered anywhere else. And the students that have gone to work are still working, and that's quite successful.
I'm 29 years old. I have 3 children, 2 that are in school, 1 that's still at home, and I work part-time now.
What brought you to Goodwill for the Wheels for Work program?
Transportation. It was about 2 years ago. Their dad had lost their job, and then I lost my job 2 months after that. And so the transportation that we had to sell to try to pay the rent, and I got a help position through the Salvation Army, and just doing the straight bus and everything. And then after keeping employment for the 6 months, then I came qualified for the 4 Wheels for Work, and and got the van through the 4 Wheels for Work. So we wouldn't have to do, bus transportation anymore, which helped out a lot. Knowing, like, doctor's appointments, my middle daughter has some medical problems, so just knowing I have to take her to the doctor's appointments, and then grocery store, and even actually to the laundromat too to go do laundry. Grocery store, just anything that you would get in your car to go do, you had to go the bus. So when you don't have the money or means of getting it, or anyone to sign for you to help you to get a car, or a loan or anything like that, it makes it pretty difficult.
So tell me how your life is different because you do have transportation now.
It's a lot easier. I feel more free. A lot of times I still forget I even have transportation out there to go, even like to the park or just to go anywhere. And yes, it makes it a lot easier just for everything. School calls, one of the kids are sick or something happened, I can go right there now instead of going, okay, I'll be there in 2 hours. I used to have the kids put all book bags on their back, and I used to have the bags and at the checkout, instead of getting the grocery bags, I would just have the kids line up, turn around, I would just load their little book bags up, and that's how we would go. Now I'm working permanently at the corrections department. So got income coming in, transportation, and it's just, yeah, things are looking up.
In the 10 years that I've had the good fortune to work for Goodwill, I've heard hundreds and hundreds of stories from clients, from customers, from employees, most of which were heartfelt, heartbreaking, but there was always one common theme that ran through all the stories that I heard, is that the opportunities that were provided by Goodwill positively changed their lives. With the advent of moving from the Bayline facility, which was 30,000 square feet, to the Opportunity Center here on Tice at 126,000 square feet, with the Learning Center, the expanded school that has a capacity for 100 students now, the Adult Training Center that's going to provide training opportunities for adults with disabilities, those opportunities will be increased exponentially as we go forward in the future.
I'm sitting in a Goodwill chair, a Goodwill couch, and a Goodwill table. I couldn't be here without the Goodwill. So,
who knows, the world is at my disposal, so I want to get up there to the top. And with people like Goodwill helping me along the way, I think I can do it.
It's the individual that we impact that has to be the driving force behind us.
You work alongside people who've come through our job link services, or people who have disabilities who were brought here through vocational rehabilitation, and you really can see how Goodwill has impacted their lives.
We're coming together for a common cause, and everybody knows the mission and wants to support the mission.
The participation of all the people that have helped us over the years is something we treasure and value. There are times when I wish you could be with me so you could see the impact that your support does and what it does to people's lives. And we thank you for that, because we could not do it without your efforts that make us better at what we do.